You are coming to us from Kariega outside Kariega in the Eastern Cape, whereby a 28-year-old suspect appeared in court on a charge of murder. We understand that over the weekend police made a gruesome discovery of a severely burnt body of a man that was buried in a shallow grave. And today in court, various political bodies threw their weight behind, the support of the family, and the LGBTQI community was also here. But in discussion with us today, I've got Lwando Nomoyi, the provincial co-chair of the LGBTQI hate crimes task team. Sir, thank you very much for your time. Today was the court appearance. Just tell us, how was the court appearance and what are some of your demands as a community for such hate crimes?
Well, the court appearance was very short. The suspect or the perpetrator in this case didn't apply for bail, so meaning that the case is now going to be heard on the 1st of June. However, as the sector and us also as the provincial task team, we are not shocked of what has happened today. This has been happening. It's just that this case has gotten attention and it's being out there. Similar cases are happening like this. It might not be as this graphic as what has happened to Lulu, but they are happening, and there's very little that has been happening. And what we find as a provincial task team is that our community doesn't feel safe to report these crimes. So we need to have a better working relationship with the provincial SAPS, but also with the local SAPS, so that they understand the challenges that the LGBTI community are facing in the community and the difficulties that they have to go through just to live a normal life that some of us might take for granted. For a transgendered person to just go through a shop, it's like going through Baghdad or Iraq, because they might not come back home. And that's the reality for almost everybody in South Africa. It should not be like that. However, as a provincial task team, we are trying to mitigate and work around these factors together with the AIDS Council, which will be ICAC, where we're looking to coming up with a program to mitigate such issues. For example, working with NPA, working closely with DSD, working closely also with SAPS. Unfortunately, in the province, SAPS hasn't come to par due to a lot of issues. They will say COVID and so on. However, we feel that they need to play their role so that the community understands their importance and their role in the community in keeping everybody safe and everybody feeling comfortable in reporting such cases. Because if we could then look at the data might not reflect the reality that is happening in the Eastern Cape, but also in the whole of South Africa, because our community do not feel safe to go and report at a police station because they fear being victimized again, like secondary victimization, where a person is made a joke when they go to access these services. The same goes for health, where people are not accessing services from health. For example, with health, for example, if you go and try and find lubricants, a simple thing is lubricants and condoms in this province, it's very difficult. You can't find it. So simple things like that show that there's really not government is not really on par on what is really going on in the community, and they need to come to the table and play their part.
And also, it's Freedom Month. I mean, do you still feel that your rights are being compromised in society? It's been more than 25 years of freedom, and this is also constituted, do you feel that your rights are also being violated?
I guess the murder of Lulu was a reality check for me, that I'm no longer free. I really thought that Dinaga, out of all places, was a safe space. It's a place where I could drive at any time at night and feel safe. So for something to happen like this to Lulu was a reminder and a wake-up call to all of us that, hey, we are not safe. This thing could still happen, and it could happen to anyone. And if it could happen to someone like Lulu, somebody who was loved and cherished by their community so much like Lulu, it could definitely happen to me, and it can definitely happen to somebody who is not known, and it might never be out there, and that could have never been found out that I was buried somewhere else. So no, I don't feel free in South Africa, and I guess this goes for almost everybody in South Africa. Don't feel free, especially the minority, which will be LGBTI people and women living in South Africa. We don't feel free. We fear a simple thing, going to a shop. You don't know if you're going to come back. You have to leave your cell phone because you fear you might not come back with that cell phone, or you might not come back by yourself. You fear driving into your own driveway because you fear that car might be taken and your life might be taken. And now, how much more for me when I'm wearing my clothes that I'm comfortable in? How do I walk in the parking lot? That's the fear that we live with on an everyday on an everyday basis. We are not living our lives. We have to live the lives of other people. We have to pretend that we are other people. We have to dress in a certain way in order for us to be safe. So I don't think that is freedom, and I don't think that is fair for that after 25 years we're still finding ourselves living in such a situation.
And also lastly, Sibonelo, before I let you go, what are your immediate demands, from government, either provincially or nationally, to take action against such a scourge that you're facing?
My demand is for us to stop having talk shops, stop having these these meetings in boardrooms and not implementing what we are supposed to be implementing. We've been doing this for years, sitting in boardrooms, writing down programs that we're supposed to be implementing, but they're not being implemented. It's time for government to come to the playground and play its part in making the community see that government is serious about issues of violence against anybody, against women, against children, against the LGBTI community, and against the trans community, because they find themselves in a very difficult situation. So I really think it's enough time. It's time for us to stop with the speeches and the president always including LGBTI people, but there is nothing being implemented on ground. It is time for us to implement these programs that we are talking about.
Sibonelo, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
That was Sibonelo, the co-chair of the LGBTQI hate crime task team within the province, just briefly unpacking to us the challenges that they are facing as a community. We do also understand that the case of the accused has been postponed till the 1st of June this year, where the accused will be coming back into court, and the matter is still under investigation. But from me, Lwando Nomoyi, it's back to you in studio.